The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
You're listening to Talking Heads with Naughty and Mary Jane. Only on Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM.
Talking Heads with Naughty and NJ is brought to you by Burger King, Fine Threads, the Free National Movement, John's Department Store, Kelly's Home Center, KFC, Naughty Johnny's, Prince Masters, the Progressive Liberal Party, and Tropical Gyros.
Could I never get me down? I know they try to use me and abuse me. I leave them with the frown. The work goes for so long on them plantation, and me never get paid. Of all they stole away, how many life them slain? Now them works and slap them in them face. Why are yes? You and your crew can go to well. Cause after we know under you colonial spell, and all those false doctrine that you compel. Hey, and all those books you stole away, all those kids you led astray. Wait on your judgment day. Bobby wrong. Me burn a fire pan a week and Babylon and them feature coulda never get me down. And though they try to use me and abuse me, I leave them with a frown. Me burn a fire pan a week and Babylon and them feature coulda never get me down. And though they try to use me and abuse me, I leave them with a frown. See ya, get to youth me and make you be wise. Cause pirates and we strike by night. I want to come trick you with them black and white.
Locked and loaded to the Friday, May 1st edition of Talking Heads. Your boy Naughty along with MJ and your company right up until 6 p.m. Friday edition, open line edition, weekend review edition. And it's Friday. It's the weekend. MJ, what's good?
Hey, I'm great. I'm good. I'm good. It's a beautiful day. It's a nice day.
I agree. It is a beautiful day. We got a ton of things to talk about, especially after yesterday and the chaos and the fiasco and the nanny burger and the crap show and the whatever you want.
Okay. I think you've described it more than well enough. We get it. It was chaotic.
What was it? Did I capitalize WTF question mark? What?
It was, you know what? It should have been predictable. The Parliamentary Registration Department was quite aware of how many persons signed up for the advance. Canary in the coal mine was when we heard from the candidate for Fort Charlotte, Travis Robinson. I think it was Tuesday we spoke with him, and he talked about how certain persons in his camp had been left off that advance poll register. And, you know, how some persons had gotten L forms, but we should have seen this coming. But it was actually worse than I anticipated. It was, I can't even say the word on the radio, but it was bad.
And, you know, if it was just in one isolated area, and if it was just certain instances of incompetence, but it was archipelago wide, MJ. I got calls from Abaco. I got calls from Andros. I got calls from Eleuthera.
Bahama. Yeah, different places, many different places. And this is why, you know, I still think that we're looking at incompetence, but this is why persons that may have made the jump and said that this is why you cannot completely argue against them. Because what is this that we saw yesterday? What was that? That was madness personified. The fact that we don't have a reasonable explanation. We just got this letter yesterday from the Parliamentary Registration Department, kind of, tepidly acknowledging that there were some errors, but not giving us a full-throated reassurance that absolutely this will not happen on Election Day. I'll tell you this much. It better not happen on Election Day. In some jurisdictions, when things like this happen, when you have these administrative barriers, we'll call them, persons that are really versed in electoral matters would label something like that voter suppression. I don't want to believe that that's where we're at or that's where we're headed. But I tell you this, y'all got, 10 good days or so, 11 good days to get your act together. Because this is not what the Bahamian public expects to happen on Election Day, and it should not happen on Election Day. Make the adjustments you need to now, because we cannot have a situation where you have, our elderly passing out because they've been in the sun 4, 5, 6 hours waiting to vote.
I look at it as organized confusion, MJ. And when I say that, I say organized in air quotes, meaning strategically. I could not take away from it the potential of voter frustration, voters being disenfranchised. But what speaks volumes is they hung on, bless their hearts, everybody who toed the line, whether they were in party colors or in non-party colors. The one thing that stood firm was Bahamians stood in line, and they did what they had to do.
Yeah, I mean, the Prime Minister had a similar assessment of the situation. I would have expected more. I would have expected a more full-throated response to all the ways that we failed. After all, it's his administration, his government that is overseeing this process. But let's since you talked about that, let's go to I think we have the clip ready, Mr. Producer. The Prime Minister, who was recently asked today by reporters about what took place yesterday. Let's listen to his response.
Well, I saw the physical challenges that were there because of the size of the polling stations and just the enthusiasm of voters. Everybody just wanted to be part of the exercise. And there has to be a way to stagger voters. Everybody came at the same time. But I'm proud of the patience exhibited by our people to exercise that sacred franchise of voting.
Okay, so that was the Prime Minister responding. And if you see the video, I could tell you his face does not look like he's so happy that everybody continued to hang on. I mean, there's bafflement there, like there's shock, like they hung on, Yeah, Bahamians did hang on, and I get it. That is to be commended. I was proud too that we did hang on. But the bottom line is, what are we going to do about it? What are we going to do about it?
Can I be brutally honest from what I gathered from that clip, MJ? I'm saying 6 to 8 either click or...
No. I mean, I'm sure they had a good time in Cat Island today where they opened the new airport.
Listen, that is baseball brewskis right there, okay? He might have caught a Cubs game on that trip at lunch, okay? I'm telling you. He was feeling no pain.
My thing is, I get it that, yes, that is be commended. I, too, was proud, but then hold on. I think the last voter got out of there last night at 9:58 p.m. Unconscionable.
1 second.
9:58 p.m.
Look at the text. Yeah, Naughty, spot on. I was thinking the same thing. You sound sweet right up. Bingo.
Yeah, oh my goodness. The point being, though, yes, Mr. Prime Minister, we did hang on, and that is to be commended. But we have a serious issue happening down there at the Parliamentary Registration Department. I don't know if they're under-resourced. I don't know if they're understaffed, but they're definitely underwater right now. And we have about 11 days until elections, and we cannot afford a repeat of this at all. And I also want to say this, because a lot of people have been saying, after seeing that, they're not sure they're going to go out on May 12th and vote because they don't have time, they don't have the hours. By law, you get the 2 hours and your lunchtime, depending on what time you start and leave work. But I want to say this to Bahamians. Please, please, please do not let what happened yesterday, what happened yesterday deter you from showing up on May 12th and letting your voices be heard. If I could watch, our most senior citizens, persons in wheelchairs, persons that are physically disabled, go out, survive all of that yesterday, and make sure that they cast their vote so that their voice is heard in the future of this country, there's absolutely zero excuse for you to sit on your duff on May 12th and just say, okay, yeah, well, the lines are long, I'm not going to do it. Please get out and vote. Please get out and vote.
Let's get to the phone lines, MJ. We got some callers. Talking Heads.
Hey, great show, you know you, MJ. How you doing?
Hey, good
what's going
afternoon.
on,
Right on, but this is the part I can ask you, right? Why are people surprised at what took place yesterday, right? Listen, follow me on this here, right? You remember about 2 weeks ago, right? Right before the polls was closed off from voting, right? They had a problem where people actually was not saying their names on the registry for voting.
Right.
So
Right.
why would you be surprised that this took place? So you know what I did? Honestly, I know I already knew this was going to happen, right? So for election from 3 weeks ago, I already told the secretary that I made plans on missing that day and taking that day off to vote because I know it was going to happen.
Okay. Okay. All
So
right. I mean,
because
that's maybe
I
a
think the
smart
government
plan.
should actually give people more time because it's
I agree.
impossible that think about it, 4 to 6 hours just to vote, and that's just a little bit of people. So imagine when a full load of people come on the 12th, it's going to be ridiculous.
Yeah. No, you're right, caller. Thank you very much,
They
caller.
have
You're right.
ample opportunity to put parameters in place now to avoid that.
Yesterday was about 10%, roughly 10% of all voters on the register. I think we're at around 209,000 persons. I think the caller, gave a good suggestion just now, which is that maybe we give more than the 2 hours. Maybe we need to give 3 or 4 hours for persons to vote on election day. And the cabinet is still, the caretaker government. So they could go right in there and cabinet, the executive can approve that. Because honestly, what we saw yesterday was just, I mean, it was bad. It was bad. And we've had so many elections. Every now and again, you hear about a little kerfuffle or two, but nothing on the scale of what we saw yesterday. And that falls squarely at the feet of this current administration. Where is the Minister of National Security speaking out on this about what plans they have in place to ensure that this doesn't happen on election day? After all, the Parliamentary Registration Department falls under his remit. So I don't hear enough. I get the Prime Minister saying he's proud of us for thugging it out. And Mr. Prime Minister, we shouldn't have to thug it out 6 hours just to cast a vote. I mean, that is absolutely ludicrous. So we don't want to hear you just proud of us for staying with it. We want to hear this happen again on May 12th.
Let me get to these texts. Hi, MJ and Naughty. They intentionally did that because they think that they will be the beneficiary of this chaos, but they are going to have a rude awakening. This government is so blatantly wicked that ordinarily a caring government would do press release to warn the corrupt citizens to do not engage in this kind of behavior, but they do not care. Naughty and MJ, I believe on general election day, people will stand on glass bottles to vote. Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. This is one of the reasons why we need a fixed election day. That's that, yeah.
Yeah, we need, competence. I have not been hard on the Parliamentary Registration Department. Even the other day when they left those persons off the list, I said that they needed to fix it. I saw later that day there came a form that released from them saying that persons that had the L certificate would be honored, but they should, they should have planned better for this. There is no excuse to say that this was an unprecedented turnout. My goodness, it's the math. You
And
had
two
the
things.
numbers. You gave us the numbers. So how you acting like you didn't? This wasn't just everybody come out of free for all. These are persons on the register, and maybe a couple of hundred or so you may have left off, but you knew the numbers. What is the excuse for having so many persons line up to go into one class, a whole constituency in one little classroom? Really? Even on election day, based on some of the data we've seen so far, you get polling divisions that'll have maybe about 500 persons, and then B will have another 5. So it's kind of managed a bit better. So why wasn't it managed properly yesterday? What was the point of doing that? And then the thing that gets me is when it became apparent to them that things were getting out of control, the movement was slow, very slow. Where were the reinforcements to monitor the line, to ensure persons, particularly elderly and disabled persons, had water, had some shaded area where they could probably wait, had a specific line that they alone could go into? because there is a difference. I know the advance poll covers many different demographics, but the 7-year-old standing in that line and an able-bodied person who's only voting in the advance poll because they're going to be working on election day. Why wasn't there any differentiation? And even when it became apparent to you that, these lines were not moving, why didn't you send in more people to help move the lines along? I mean, it's a head scratcher the way that they handled it, not only in the preparation, but when the actual day was starting to fall apart, the fact that they didn't make adjustments right then and there is just amazing to me. It was a magnificent failure yesterday, not to be repeated on election day.
Now, here is my point in all of this. Just further proof that if we and listen, I love my golden pearls out there. I love my senior citizens. You know that. I ride for you all, but I gotta say something. When some of you all have served this country and you all have earned your retirement, stay retired. Don't let governments tempt you to come back on expertise and double dipping, because when we end up with scenarios like this, where clearly the game has passed Mr. Thompson by, and obviously he's swimming in the deep end, which is way above his swim level right now. Yesterday was an epic failure on multiple levels. It cannot be repeated on election day. It cannot be repeated on election day.
Things that you notice is that there was no, adapting in the moment. As things began to break down, there was no adapting. And I think that reflects poorly, So I don't know. I just think that they need to increase their resources, increase the persons that are going to be able to work on those various polls on that day and make sure things run smoothly.
Let's get back to the phone lines. They're fully loaded. Talking Heads. Talking Heads.
Good day, Madam MJ and Mr. Naughty.
Hey.
Well, like Gabby normally say, that was organized chaos. I call it organized destruction and organized discouragement, or we could give it the PPP. They, title. Phil Fiasco Polling Day. Put a P in the front of the fiasco and let it be pronounced silently. But, when we look at it, we think when accidentally they organize these things. They bring it like that. They have all of these promises and they can't bring them through. But MJ, you know what the word amicus means?
Yes.
Okay. So if and I want to say this before the weekend, so that Lincoln and maybe Pintat and them, and they ought to have that they will have to challenge from that voting bloc. And as they come to the poll on the 12th, and they have to get themselves organized, challenge every one of them, because the matter goes to court on the grounds of amicus, that any impartial advisor can go into court, an election court, and give the reasons why these people are being challenged. So don't let their organized chaos, organized destruction, and organized discouragement cause them to use these funny-looking people coming to the poll to win the election. You see where I'm coming from?
Loud and clear, Dennis.
Yeah, see, if they're using the voting bloc, you have to challenge enough of them, COI and the FNM and the independents. If they can come and step to the polls, because they don't let the officials then use them so that they can vote anyway. Challenge everyone. And I'm in my case, sending the case to another judge since the 19th of March. I know how to use court strategies. They can't beat me. And that's how they will cost the election to go into election court. And they will have to come and show it when it be challenged before the court. Just
all right, good stuff, Dennis. Appreciate you as always, man. Let me get to the text lines. MJ Naughty, the government is inept, so parliamentary registry department is the same. The canary was actually the registration process. I wish I had the text I sent him where I said people were too casually dismissing the 5-hour wait as good for them. Behemoths like to wait last minute. I said represented a breakdown in the system. And the PRD talking about all the adjustments from May 12 does not reassure me. By Tuesday midday, I want to hear the adjusted plans in so I and everyone else can assess the level of preparation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's interesting because when you talk about canaries in the coal mine, we could take it back even further. We are now in a place where the nurses are telling us that the system at the hospital has been falling apart. The doctors have said that it's the worst it's been in 40 years. Teachers have been telling us how terrible things are. They have insufficient pockets in order to, be able to teach their students properly. We have different islands. I mean, how many times have Grand Bahamians called out about things not moving in the right direction? Exuma, Eleuthera has like a power outage almost daily at this point, even, water outages. We've been told that things are not getting better in some crucial areas for a very long time. Well, yesterday was a display of yet another institution in this country that should be operating on full throttle, actually stalling and breaking down on the road. Because that's what we saw. It was like a complete breakdown yesterday.
Good afternoon, MJ and Naughty. Please note that we are dealing with a government system. Many persons in the system are not qualified or experienced to manage. Many persons do not get input from their team members. This is why they failed. Consultants, who are they? Most of these consultants need to be charged for real ones. Many of these consultants do not have a clue of what to do. Their consultants cannot help them or save them now. Good afternoon, MJ and Naughty. They give the numbers, but was it the regular math or PLP math? 100
It was
equals
some kind of math.
10,000.
I don't know what kind of math that was. When I also got disturbed, Women's Registration Department sent out a notice about those L forms and tampering with the L forms. And then we heard some reporting that some persons were showing L forms on their phones. Like, are we being serious with all of the document fraud happening in this country right now? They were accepting L forms on phone. I sincerely hope that isn't the case. But that released by the Parliamentary Registration Department just had me scratching my head like, what is going on? Like, who is in charge right now? Because the system seems to be in a free-for-all. Now, mind you, for some persons, it was a smooth process. They got in, they got out. But that was like the exception. That wasn't the rule yesterday. And it should have been the other way around.
All right, let's get to the text lines. I think I got all the text covered for now. And let's go to the phone lines. We got callers on the line. Talking Heads.
Dolly.
Yes, sir.
Naughty. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, Naughty and MJ. What's happening?
What's happening?
Good afternoon, caller.
Okay, good. Did y'all take part in the advance poll on yesterday?
No, we did not.
Okay. Y'all were moving around, though.
We were moving around, yes.
Okay, good. Well, I took part in the advance poll at CV Battle on yesterday.
How was that?
It was, well, I went there about 11:30.
Okay.
I guess that morning rush, there's some people who like to vote early. And
Before
then you have
work,
some
yeah.
people who like to vote late. So
Right.
I was like in the middle. It took me about 15 minutes. Because I was on a line with-
you were lucky.
No, what happened is that I'm blind. I'm legally blind.
Okay, gotcha.
So the three candidates went in and they came to a conclusion that, they'll deal with the people in wheelchairs and
Good.
the other people differently. But
Right.
there was no type of problems around CV Bell. And they had three constituencies there. They had South Beach, Pinewood, and Bamboo Town there. Okay? Now, like I say, I'm legally blind. So my person that takes
Right.
me around, see? He told
I'm
me
happy you were able
that's
to
an
get in and out
indication
quickly.
and
Mhm.
how anything is going to be on the 12th. We have another 5 year Brave Davis in the PLP. Another 5 years.
Okay, Julian, let me ask you
do you all live
this.
in the St. Anne's area?
No, we did not.
Okay, because I think they all might be. I think the people in St. Anne's is going to be a part of history.
Julian, you know.
You got a
I
little
love your
commercial going
marketing.
on there. You
You
got
right.
a little
No, but hold on,
endorsement
let me get this
happening.
in.
No, one,
And I wanted to
one
make
at a
sure I
time.
stay on the line. Julian, listen, I know you ride for your PLP like I ride for my Dallas Cowboys. You ride for Brave
And
like I ride for
Miami
Kobe. But
Dolphins.
let me make this point.
My Miami Dolphins.
Oh, I owe you Dolphins. But let me make this point, Julian. You all right with me? I know you a long time. Listen.
Yeah, man.
Whoever that is taking you around, telling you that the PLP had 35,000 to 45,000 people, like you said the other morning on Morning Blend.
Yeah.
Listen, don't let them go cash no check for you, baby.
But listen to
Don't
me.
let them cash
that's
no
the
check. Don't let them
personal
near the
thing I
money.
did.
Don't let them near the money because they lied to you on that one.
But listen to me. I was out there. I'm saying what Dwight and Bristol said.
Dwight, you need to learn how to sing a song first before he can do commentary.
No. It was definitely not that. They lied to you.
Why do you think Dwight and Bristol got that big space in the middle of their teeth? It's proof. He can't sing no songs.
But listen to me.
What happened?
Naughty, write this down and put this on your fridge. Somewhere you go every day so you can see this.
Okay.
It would be 29 to 12.
All right, I can put it on the fridge and I can see it for me and for you.
It could be 2 string seats that the PLP is going to win.
I have a good one. I think he's endorsing. But that was not the experience for the majority of our voters yesterday. Absolutely not. And I got to tell you guys, some of it, I ain't gonna lie, right? Like some of it coming out of yesterday was a little bit jokey. Like, wow, Bahamians have no chill. But for the most part, the voting was very strenuous. It took hours for many people, disorganized. You had some like fights and stuff breaking out. I saw a video of 2 guys, and I don't know those guys are like spinning this lady around in a wheelchair. She had to take off her hat and start like swatting at them. I don't know what was happening there. Someone explained that, she was in an F&M shirt and it was a PLP wheelchair and they wanted the wheels. It's like the craziness, right? The craziness. We could do without that on May 12th. As a matter of fact, I don't want to see any of that happening on May 12th.
And listen, if you got candidates trying to be amicable toward each other, then, protocol should kick in regardless of party affiliation. If you're doing an interview, you should have enough protocol and decorum to keep it politically correct with your opponent. Yesterday, what I saw at Bamboo Town, seeing how Julian brought up Bamboo Town, Madam Speaker, you call Dr. Sands filth?
Yeah, I saw that.
Dr. Sands who jumped into action when we had multiple seniors from multiple political parties have issues out there. He jumped into action. Well, listen, Madam Speaker, since you're describing people in one filth, I got one for you when it comes to you. Girth.
The thing about it is, I did see some candidates, because it should be like a spirit of camaraderie. You may not agree politically, but we're all Bahamians. You see an opponent out there, there's no reason at all to be hostile or for things to take a negative turn. I did see many pictures coming out of yesterday where you had candidates of the different parties kind of hugging and saying hello and, that kind of thing. But I also did see the video that you're referencing where I guess they were preparing to do an interview with Dr. Dwayne Sands. Darren Henfield was there, and the former Speaker of the House, Patricia DeVoe, she was there. And then she said something to the effect of she didn't want to stand on the side of Dr. Sands to do the interview, which I thought was like said in jest at first. But then when she moved to the side and hollowed out filth, and I don't know if she was referring to him as filth or what have you, but I just thought that took a negative turn that doesn't have to happen. And I don't know why she did it. Makes no sense. But you're always going to have those incidences. The key is you want to make them the exception, not the standard.
All right, let's get to the calls real quick, then we'll get to the break. Talking Heads.
Great show as usual. And
Good
I
afternoon.
just want to say I'm glad that man said he was blind. Because,
call out your mess.
No,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Naughty had to do that one for you. But my father's 80, and he went to vote yesterday down at Essie McPherson. He went at around, he said 8:30, and he didn't leave out of there until after 3.
What?
And, he said, he said, yes, he did have somewhere to sit. He would sit down. He said, but he saw many persons being taken in ahead of him. They using the wheelchair and all that. He said he should have just bring my mom's old wheelchair and just, be brought in. But
exactly.
That is really too long. And the thing is, we know the year. We know that this year would be election year. They knew it. So they had so many. You could have been preparing from last year. You had a register to work with. These kind of things should not be happening. even if the schools, I was thinking maybe the schools, didn't prepare as they do for election day because they didn't expect. But you always kind of prepare for more. You always do that, just in
exactly.
case, And so it's a really bad on the registrar's part. But and Naughty, I know the man old, and yeah, he should not have come out of retirement, but he could have been a little concerned, and they should have hired somebody to actually smooth things over and make it better. They needed more people, I think, in that area. And that's where they should have beefed up from last year to accommodate what they know or what they would have expected, But
yeah, they definitely weren't proactive on this. They're being reactive right now.
So I pray for May 12th. I pray for us, May 12th. It better go straight because I ain't signed no hours.
No, you better stand. You better stand hours if you have to. We hope you do.
My daddy say he 80 and he spent a couple hours. He say, Cherie, you go there from 6 and you stay till the next day if you have to.
Exactly. If your dad could do it, you could do it. All right?
Yeah. Okay. Y'all take care.
You too. Have a good one, caller. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying to everyone out there saying, "Oh, I don't know if I go through that on May 12th." Do not let this be the thing that prevents you from exercising your constitutional rights. You need to go out there. If our most senior citizens could do, and they're doing it for us, because most of them have lived their lives. They're trying to secure a better future for you, their children, for their grandchildren, for their great-grandchildren, and generations unborn. And if they could go stand out there, with sight ailments and disabilities and being 70, 80, 90 years old, they could go out and endure. Once again, for us who are going to benefit from, the direction of the country in the future, then all of you young, able-bodied persons, it would be an absolute disgrace, shameful, if you suck your teeth and walk off and say, I ain't going through that. You got Grammy, Grandpa, all of the people that have made this country what it is to this point, still sacrificing for us. Don't be lazy. Don't be turned off. Get out there and vote on May 12th.
Let's get back to the phone lines. Talking Heads.
Hello, am I on?
Talking Heads.
Am I on?
Yes, go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead. We can hear you. What you got for us, caller?
Okay. Listen, I want to address that. I'm your friend, one who is legally blind, who said 29 to 12. He is correct. But then he couldn't see. He didn't realize the 29 was FNM and the 12 was PLP. That's the only thing I wanted to clear up.
Okay.
All right, caller. Thanks,
you got you, caller.
All right, let's get to the break. Flip side of the break, MJ, we got a ton of texts to get to. And then we got to talk about a few things. All right, we got to talk about the Garden Hills candidate for the FNM.
Gobble up.
We got to talk about, how should I say it, unsavory behavior from Elizabeth, MP. And,
squabble up again.
We got a couple more to address too, man, and things we need to look at. All right, we're going to take a quick break right now. Flip side of the break, we'll be right back at you on this Friday, May 1st edition of Talking Heads with Naughty and MJ, which continues right after this.
Old days stowed away, how many life them slay. Now them work to slap them in them face. Why are yes, you and your crew can go too well. Cause after we know under you colonial spell, and all those false doctrine that you compel. Hey.
Under the FNM, Shantytowns grew. The PLP is demolishing them. The FNM made it easier to get a passport. The PLP fixed their mess and is cracking down on fraud. The FNM let investment in the Defense Force slow to a crawl. The PLP added hundreds of officers and new interceptors. Under the FNM, migrants flooded into the Bahamas. The PLP repatriated record numbers. The FNM offers talk. The PLP offers a real record. Paid for by the PLP.
Craving something bold, fresh, and unforgettable? Tropical Gyros is your flavor-packed escape, a carry here in Nassau. From juicy grilled salmon, chicken, and pork gyros to loaded bowls, fresh salads, wings, and more. There's something for every craving. Find Tropical Gyros at any of their locations, JFK Plaza, Rosetta Street, Port Lucaya Freeport, or their franchise spots on Prince Charles Drive, Soldier Road West, Delaport, and Carmichael Road. Tropical Gyros, not just good food, it's an experience.
For fast, reliable, and impactful printing services, look no further. Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life. We stand by our quality products that is second to none. Our affordable pricing and friendly, efficient staff makes Printmasters the ultimate choice for all your printing needs. We can deliver any type of printing services, from banners to booklets to business cards. You name it, we can print it.
Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
KFC got that crispy onions crunch. Take a bite, it's a smile. Sweet onion sauce drip, happy running down my side. Pepper jack cheese, bring a little playful wow. Burrito bun soft like a cloud on this ride. KFC, get chicky with it. Hey. Taste the sweet side of things. Every single bite, so lit it. Got my whole crew doing that thing. Crispy onions, sweet onion sauce, pepper jack cheese going on.
Introducing the new Sweet Chicky Chicken Sandwich at KFC.
Let's get chicky with it.
You're listening to Talking Heads with Naughty and Mary Jane. Only on Guardian Radio.
It's time for the buzz. What are you buzzing on? Brought to you by John's Shoes.
God knows. I am reincarnated. I was stargazing. Life goes on. I need her, my babies. Woke up looking for the broccoli. High key, keep a horn on me. That could my C. IP ownership. The blueprint is by me. Mr. Get Off, I get off at my feet. A yeet couldn't try me in a tri-state. Buddy pass, but I get him splashed till he hydrated. Bounce out, know he spook town, eyes dilated. I got the money and the power, both gyrating. I feel good, get the out my thighs. Look good, but she don't got no ties. I walked in, walked out with the size. Man, don't let me know what the price. What the I got hits, I got bucks, I got new paper cuts, I got friends, I got foes, but they all sitting ducks. Hit his turf and get cracking, double back like a deluxe. 50 deep, but it ain't deep enough. Complete, there you go, beat him up. Falling from a money tree, and it grew throughout the month. Spit a loogie at the camera, speed off, yes, us. I feel good, get the
We're back at you on the Friday, May 1st edition of Talking Heads, Naughty and MJ and your company right up until 6 p.m. And we're into the hour for the 4 o'clock hour, 4:46 p.m. is the time. Mr. Producer, we got any calls? All right, phone lines are loaded. Let's jump into the phone lines, MJ. Talking Heads.
Hey, good afternoon.
Afternoon, caller.
Hey, yeah, I mean, you're candidate for Garden Hills, right? I don't know. Hello?
Go ahead.
Yeah, he keeps speaking about bullies, right? But he is the one who's been up on the stage over punching people out and chopping people in the throat and jumping and trying to attack people, right? As far as I'm concerned, I know what you, Naughty and MJ. Y'all got a mother? Y'all ain't got a mother.
Lord bless the dead. My mom passed in 2013, but I had a beautiful mom.
I say mother. Mother. That's only words, man. You campaign and you want my vote. If someone says anything, this is time for you to suck up everything and let's go with that. And the same thing, the arrogant candidate for South Beach, Penfield, very arrogant during the voting time yesterday.
Okay,
right?
But let me ask you, caller. But let me ask you this, caller. So the person in the PLP shirt poking his finger up in Ricky Fox's face using obscenities, he was all good. He was well warranted with what he did.
Hear me out. If I'm a candidate...
Because I can tell you, caller, I can tell you this, caller, if you come in my face poking your finger talking about F you, Naughty, I could punch you in the mouth. I could.
All I heard when he cursed at him and say mother, whatever, right? But I vying for your vote. You think I should lose my temper and bring myself down to your level?
I think that the candidate...
You shouldn't take any kind of threat in any way, shape, or form either. That's the problem. We ain't used to have... No, that's the problem. We done had too many wishy-washy, jelly-back, swivel-wristed dudes run this country. That's why we're in the predicament we are. Sometimes we need some real men with backbone and bollocks to stand up and punch a bully in the mouth politically.
I think we don't. Thank you very much, caller. I think we don't want it to get to any kind of physical violence. And I do wish that Rick had maintained his cool in that moment. I heard what the gentleman said. There was also a longer video circulating online where the campaign manager, Carla Bethel, was saying, oh, so you're threatening me. So I'm not exactly sure of the full circumstance that happened there, but we really should conduct ourselves better. And it was disturbing to kind of hear someone say, I don't give a bleep about the rules. Like, that's crazy. But all candidates, maintain your cool on the campaign trail. People are going to say very terrible things. They're going to call you everything but a child of God. You cannot lose your cool in those situations. You have to maintain a decorum. And I like the energy, but I say maintain your cool. And let's try to be decent to each other. Let's not curse at each other. There's no excuse for that. So that
I have a remedy for this.
Well.
I have a remedy for this.
What's the remedy?
Any political candidate who knows that talks get to you and get you upset, what you do is you hire me. And I sit there with the microphone and I just tear down your opponent and I just berate them from their head.
That is not going to make it better.
And for the right fee, we can make it happen for you. And the more the more you pull up and give me some more money, the more funny you'll get.
Do not listen to him. That doesn't make it better. But yeah, no, you got to maintain your composure on the campaign trail because it's going to get a bit rougher before things ease up, which is on election day, right? When things will begin to cool down and we'll get back to, you know, more sensible
behavior
positions. But the feeling of
some more calls.
Go ahead. Let's go to the phone lines.
Let's run the call gamut and then we'll jump back in. 2 more to go. Talking Heads.
Hey, Lordy.
Hey,
good afternoon.
Yeah, listen, man. I know you cool with him, Anton. So I want you to try to see if you get Anton to get the government system for May 12th. So when people reach there, you give them a number, put them in the classroom, let them sit down in some nice air conditioning, and wait for some refreshments, and tell them number, call, probably do 5 at a time. Rather have them stand for 2-3 hours in the hot sun.
Yeah, that's an interesting suggestion. I don't know. See, the thing about it is, though, we haven't seen this level of chaos on actual election days. And usually each polling division would be around 500, maybe 600 persons max. So I expect things to go better on election day. But yeah, any suggestion is a good suggestion. And I hope the folks down there at parliamentary registration are listening and, you know, take up all of these great suggestions that Bahamians are putting out. Thank you very much, caller.
I had a little technical difficulty, MJ. I dropped that. I apologize. I don't know.
We got it.
All right, so I apologize to that caller. I was still talking. If you heard me, I didn't hear you, so I apologize. Let's get to the other call. Talking Heads.
Yes, good afternoon, Marty and Mary Jane.
Good afternoon.
This is what is wrong with us, and again, some people. They will defend their party, whatever. Now, let's go back to the Mr. Ferguson, who calls often. I listen to a lot of talk shows, and trust me, he makes a living out of this, I guess. What his party does is right. Now, he's speaking about the 29 that they will win, perhaps, I don't know. But my thing is, it seems to him that his party can never, ever do anything wrong. I've been listening all morning to various people calling in, and the sentiments are this, out there in all of the constituencies that I can attest.
It was. There's no denying that. It was chaos.
Yes, and Mary Jane, I voted. And the constituency that I voted in, I think was more chaotic than the rest.
Wow. Because, which one did you vote in? Which location? Which location?
Okay. Here's the thing. I am 72 years old, so I've been voting for a long time.
Yeah.
I was always told that voting is sacred.
Yeah.
Because we are in a state of mind whereby we are electing persons who will govern, make policies, make laws that will affect us for a very long time, and even our children, born or unborn.
Yes.
So let me tell you what happened in this particular one. The noise was unacceptable. It was like there was a carnival going on.
Wow.
And then there were persons screaming, those who represent their party, screaming their rhetoric. You know, all the way. I wouldn't call the police whatever part of it.
Right.
What I mean. And I never thought that was accepted around a voting booth because I always thought it was supposed to be quiet music in there.
Yeah.
So, but then again, they will defend the same gentleman. I don't want to pick on him because after all, he has the right to express himself. But here's the thing. I've heard other stories coming out of that very constituency that he voted in. And it's not good.
Agreed. Most of the stories are very bad. Mm-hmm.
Just one last point. He said he got out of there in 15 minutes. Well, I got out of mine in 5 hours.
Wow.
So maybe then he got special special attention then? Is that what you're trying to say?
It sounds like that. It sounds like that. It does sound that way, that he got in and out.
No wonder why he rooting for his people. Thank you.
Have a good one. Yeah, because the Prime Minister was in and out of there, I'm sure, in 5 minutes at the most. Yeah, certain people did not get to the full experience of the chaos.
Flashing and out, man.
Yeah, they didn't experience the reality that most Bahamians experienced yesterday.
Boy, I tell you. Listen, all right, Texas, I got to get to you all in the 5 o'clock hour after the news. MJ, we got close to 50 right now that we got to blaze through.
Well, we were talking about squabbling up. We also saw an incident that took place late last night. The video circulating online with the Minister of
Elizabeth? And Energy?
Energy and Transport.
You mean JJ, Junglist Joe Beth?
It seems that the minister was also experiencing some difficulties at the polling. The police officers there. And I hope that not only the Parliamentary Registration Department takes note of what happened yesterday, but I hope that Shanta Knowles, the Commissioner of Police, takes note of how things developed yesterday as well, because I did see police officers at the various locations, but the video circulating online, it seemed chaotic last night.
We got it lined up.
In that Elizabeth constituency, where the police officers are even screaming like, bring the box out. It was like confusion once again, and that should be happening.
All you can hear is squawking above everybody else, though. JJ, Junglist Joe Beth. But no, sir. Leave the box. Mr. Producer, run the clip, please.
Bring the box! Bring the law! Bring the law! Bring the box out!
Yeah, so it's bring the box out, and I don't understand what that chaos was about. And
let me just break it down. She looked like a Sunday reggae night junglist trying to pry her way into the club because she missed free entry before midnight. Okay. And our whole posse of goons behind does not make it any better. When I look around and I see the way Madam Speaker in Bamboo Town, the way other PLP candidates are carrying on, the way Elizabeth carried on, you smell it? You smell that in the air? You know what that is? It's called desperation.
Well,
desperate times call for desperate measures.
I don't know, but I just would hope that, and I understand there are protocols surrounding it. The thing about it that I do find interesting, though, is in the past when certain red flags have been raised by opposition parties, it's always been, oh, no, everything's perfect. You're criticizing public servants and so forth and so on. Well, looking at that video with the Minister of Transport, Energy and Transport, and the way that she was addressing, I assume was a returning officer. I know she put a press release out, Joe Beth Colby Davis did. The way she was addressing that and kind of like inferring certain things.
What's her issue with
what's happening? I don't get it. And I wish that
in a vehicle and
they had taken some of the concerns of the opposition parties more seriously earlier, so that maybe together all of the parties could have resolved some of these issues beforehand. But then we see last night that even a person who is a minister in the government is overseeing this process, mind you. These people was having, quite the time with whatever was happening down there at that polling division. So I think that the operable move now is for all of the major parties to get together and to figure out exactly, where the deformities are and correct them before May 12th. Because we don't want to see any of this carrying on. It looked like that situation could have gotten out of control. As a matter of fact, I think I heard a police officer say in that clip that's going around, come before this gets out of control, because you have a lot of people rushing the door, talking about this box, and it's a situation that could have easily gotten out of control.
It could have been very combustible. Let's get to the phone lines real quick. Talking heads.
Nico, MJ, it's Nico. How are you?
Hey, how are you, Nico?
I'm tired. It's down at CV Bethel.
I saw the videos and the pictures floating around. I saw you out there doing your thing.
Anyway, I'm telling you, I've been doing this for over 30 years, and I am a no-nonsense, fair, reasonable man. What I saw yesterday, this is my perception, but I'm also going to indicate what the perception, tell you on the radio what I was called and where I could go and everything else.
Oh, wow.
I'm from I'm Greek descent, and you know where I'm getting.
Yeah.
So not only that, how this was designed was the most shocking, absolutely inhumane. I don't even know what to call it. Chaos is not the word. Now, I have a job to do, and that's what I'm focused on. But when I tell you, I have never seen anything more shocking in my life. People, 5 hours, waiting, 5 hours. If anybody says they got in within 10, 15 minutes, man, ease up. I'm not going to accuse anybody at this point in time because it was clear what happened yesterday at CV Bethel. And when I tell you, people at the end of the day, everything, even the PLP candidates and party members believe what was being done. The perception was out there, and I'm not going to go into it now. When the postmortem happens, it's going to happen, and I will let you know. But when I tell you, everybody, this stuff in the newspaper by the PRD saying that they didn't expect all these people. They put out the numbers, 26,000 people. They knew how many were there. Okay, there was one room for Bamboo Town with 1,200 people. I was there till late at night with my candidate and our team. Then there was another, everything else. It was shocking. Elderly people there for 5 hours, 6 hours. It was horrible. Now, you can take it as you will and understand, we've been doing this for 50 years. We're not stupid. Now, take that as you will. But it was the most shocking display, almost of inhumanity, that I've ever seen.
I agree.
People exercising their democratic rights.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Good stuff, Nico. I appreciate
you so much,
and giving us the candid update because we got to get to the news right now. But good stuff. And I did see Nico out there yesterday, so I know he's not just speaking from hearsay. He was out there on the ground, as other people were too. Definitely got to improve that process by the 12th. Quick words out of the news. I will get all your texts in. We'll get back to the phone lines, and MJ and I will continue the Friday Weekend Review Open Line edition of Talking Heads. Keep it right where you got it. Don't touch it.
See ya. Get to youth, me I beg you be wise. Cause pirates and we strike by night. I want come trick you with them black and white. Whoa Lord, hey. But be careful what you sign.
A paid political message by the Free National Movement's candidate for Fort Charlotte, Travis Robinson.
Fort Charlotte, stand up! Bahamas, wake up! All across this nation, time to see the truth clear now. Tell Brave and Sebas, all money ain't good money. FNM, we ready. Brave say he love the poor man, but the poor man can't see no plan. Sebas get rich, now we run the land, while Bahamians catching hell again. Big man talk, big talk, but can't walk, the people walk. All that money and still can't rest. Power hungry, heart can't bless. All money ain't good money. Brave, you sell his soul of the nation for a number show. Sebas County million FNM say no. Fort Charlotte rise, let the truth flow. All money ain't good money.
A paid political message by the Free National Movement's candidate for Fort Charlotte, Travis Robinson.
John Shoes and Accessories is your one-stop shop for all your footwear needs. You will find what you're looking for among the growing collection of classic and trendy styles with new arrivals every week. John's covers the whole family and has great prices, helpful and friendly customer service. Your experience shopping with us will be time well spent. Shop with us online at www.johnshoes.com. John's also now carries small home appliances. So come on into John's, located on Rosetta Street in Palmdale and Carmichael Road West. John's, we put fashion at your feet.
KFC got that crispy onions crunch. Take a bite, it's a smile. Sweet onion sauce drip, happy running down my side. Bring a little play for a while. Burrito bun soft like a cloud on this ride. KFC, get chicky with it. Hey. Taste the sweet side of things. Every single bite, so lit it. Got my whole crew doing that thing. Crispy onion, sweet onion sauce, pepper jack cheese going on.
Introducing the new Sweet Chicky Chicken Sandwich at KFC.
Let's get chicky with it.
5 years of PLP rule. Are you better off today? While you work, they've spent millions on taxpayer-funded trips, a government-funded luxury car, and handed out hundreds of millions in no-bid contracts. But for the rest of us, gas and groceries through the roof, VAT on bread basket items, healthcare that is broken, unaffordable, and out of reach. And it's not just your wallet. For 5 years, illegal immigrants have flooded our communities, putting excessive pressure on our schools, our housing, and our social services. As they flood in, Bahamian families fall behind. Under the FNM, there will be a change. The FNM has a plan to address the rising cost of living, secure our borders, protect Bahamians from illegal immigrants, and fix our health care. Because the FNM knows our job is to work for you and not the few. This message was paid for and
only on Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM.
Lord have mercy. Oh, well. We burn a fire, banner we got. Babylon and the free talk coulda never get me down. And though they try to use me and abuse me, I leave them with the frown. Me burn a fire, banner we got. Babylon and the free talk coulda never get me down. And though they try to use me and abuse me, I leave them with the frown. The work goes by so long.
We're back at you on the Friday, May 1st edition of Talking Heads, Naughty and MJ and your company right up until 6 p.m. We're up into the 5 o'clock hour. 5:10 p.m. is the time. Let's go right to the phone lines. Talking Heads.
What's up, Naughty?
Hey, good afternoon.
I have an observation. Plus a question for you and the pretty lady. Oh, I must congratulate you. You know, as I listen to her, I must say that
I'll take my coverage. I'm aware of that. I'm blessed. I see it every day. I'm blessed.
You ain't as dumb as you look.
Oh.
Yeah, I had to say that. Okay. Anyway.
With friends like you who needs enemas.
Yes, sir. Oh. Anyway, here's my question. No matter who is elected, right, what remains intact and unchanged?
How do you feel about it, caller? How do you feel?
No. I'm asking you and that.
If you look at the different campaigns that are happening with the major parties right now in the country, they all offer a different perspective, different views about how we should move forward as Bahamians. So there will be change. There will be change. It may not be what Bahamians want as fast as we want, but there will be change.
But there's one thing in particular remains unchanged over the past 40 years. The status quo is not impacted at all.
Well, I think that,
and it took on a whole different tinge, as the rules regarding general orders were ignored. Service to make up a huge percentage of the status quo. Now, if there's one thing that the PLP and the FNM they will have to agree on going forward no matter who wins. What is the role of those public servants? I mean, permanent secretaries, assistant secretaries, whatever, what have you.
Yeah.
They benefit tremendously from this, you know, and they can't be fired. But they control the system, basically. They benefit from the system regardless of who is in power. And they basically ain't answerable to nobody. Not even the MP.
Yeah, I mean, it's a process, for sure it is.
Yeah, you know. But
yeah.
I think that's part when you look at our electoral process, and then you know how we're set up afterwards. Those are the kind of things that need to be addressed, because, like you said,
voting is a process.
I could be a permanent secretary for 40 years under multiple administrations. Maybe there needs be some checks and balances there too.
Hey, and even though that thing we call a referendum, it makes no sense. Okay, because you know, all the referendum is a public opinion. Now, if there's a huge, because happening is Parliament retains sovereignty even in the matters of the outcome of whatever outcome there is in another referendum. Okay, you know, we need to get real serious about this thing going in, because, you know, I think our status quo is probably our biggest enemy right now.
Good stuff.
Thank you very much, caller. I just wanted to comment on that a little, just a quick second, because, you know, the caller raises some very important points. That's why one of the things that I like to stress, and I want us to focus on, particularly moving forward, is strengthening our institutions, right? You know, he talked about general orders. That should not come down to a political question, right? If we had strong institutions, if we reinforce the system properly, then it should be no question that those violating should face whatever, you know, disciplinary action is on the books for them. But then you get political interference in some of these instances, or a lack of political will to follow through on the, you know, prescribed remedies for these situations when general orders are ignored, and that is a problem. But we will never fix this. The status quo will always remain unless we strengthen our institutions, and that's a big problem, and we've not done a good job of it all around in the past 50 years, but that doesn't mean that it can't happen. It can happen. We just need to, participate more strongly in the system outside of the 5-year election periods, and ensure that the leaders that we elect to represent us understand that we mean business. We mean business.
Let's get to the other calls. Talking Heads.
Hey, Naughty and MJ.
Good afternoon.
You know, I'm listening to all of the hullabaloo that went on yesterday, and I'm trying to see if I missed it. But the other MPs, because it seems like most of the cry is coming from the F&M side. There's some from a little from the COI, and very, very little up until last night from the PLP side, unless I missed it. You know, and I know I heard some people make it, but there should be a stronger message going out to Mr. Thompson today.
Yes.
That this will no longer be tolerated. And he needs to be reprimanded, because it's impossible for you to make a list of people, send out a number, and say how much people are going to be where. You know how much people is in each polling division. And put, like Dr. Sands say, 1,200 people in a one classroom and a 700 people in two classrooms. That makes absolute no sense. He needs to be reprimanded.
You're
right. And the person working with him need to have some kind of something to happen to them for their contribution to. Because if I'm sitting there and I am in that, and I see, hold on, my list say 1,200 people. Hold on. So, Mr. Thompson, we can't do this with one room. We need another room, or we need another 2 rooms in order for it to be sorted out. I hear somebody said something along the lines where there was 3 ballot boxes, but they had people coming in 1 person at a time. You know, what kind of people are these? And I it's sad to say, but if persons in the Progressive Liberal Party today sees this going on and still cast their, I know that's their choice, but still cast their vote for this can tell you the type of government we've been having for the last 4.5 years. If you're still going to cast your vote for them, then this is the nonsense you want to encourage for 5 more years. I'm sorry to say it later, but this is how I see it, because I'm not hearing enough cry coming from that side.
Yeah, no, I agree. And also, everyone should be speaking out.
Speaking out.
Yeah.
And that is why when the Fort Charlotte young man, when he spoke, Robinson, when he spoke to Mr. Harrison, that's why he gave him such a, okay, all right, then I guess you got to live with it type of answer.
Yeah, that was
because
the problem.
Because he knows there is nothing going to happen to him. I'm sorry, tell him this is not, I'm sorry for saying it, but this is not the Trump administration. This don't happen like that. You get reprimanded in the Bahamas. One way or the other.
Thank you very much, caller. Caller raised some important points. You know what I mean? That there has to be, all of the parties should be speaking on. Like we saw the kerfuffle, we saw the breakdown in Elizabeth, but where were the voices before that? I suspect that the Progressive Liberal Party is particularly quiet and were quiet leading up to the big disaster yesterday, because they understand that what is happening under their watch. They didn't come into government with a chaotic system, but now they're potentially leaving government having, not improved the system, progressed the system, as they like to say, but now we're seeing chaos at the polls. That is unacceptable. They know that it's under their watch, so there may be a little bit of they may be behemoths to believe all is well, it's all roses, everything is perfect. But as we saw yesterday in magnificent fashion, it is not all roses. And right now, because we have such a short window between yesterday's disaster and what is going to happen on May 12th, we have such a short window that everybody needs to get involved in the process and make sure we don't see a repeat of what happened yesterday.
Indeed. All right. Time to jump in with the text, MJ, and there are a ton, so bear with. I'll pause from time to time for your commentary.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
There's a ton. All right. Good afternoon to you both. I heard that Joe Beth acted to fool or report in workers for the handling of ballot boxes. Is there any truth to her? The video is circulating. Yes, there's truth to that conduct. Mr. Naughty and Mrs. MJ, I didn't hear Ingram say about Harry Thompson in the news interview. Could you all play it before the show over? Rick Fox situation, that video gone international. I was shocked when I saw that on Forgotten Kings TV on YouTube.
What?
And those comments what I was reading, want Rick to win his seat, not to beat the fella.
All right, let me just say something quick right here, because this is the thing. Rick Fox is a unique candidate in this race in this perspective, which is that, he can bring international attention like immediately. And so, what we want to see moving forward is, the positive highlights of the Bahamas. He can definitely bring that to the table. There is no disputing that. You're right. The story went viral. I saw it on TMZ. I think I saw it on some of the other major U.S. outlets as well. And the news stories are continuing to creep up. So, Rick, whatever you do, international eyes are going to be watching. So, that's just bear that in mind.
And there's the next text. Naughty, was that the University of North Carolina Tar Heel or Boston Celtic or Los Angeles Laker Rick Fox? Question mark. That was definitely Laker Rick Fox.
The Laker Fox.
He was amazing and funny yesterday at the polls. And listen, the dude who fired it off, who everybody's failing to realize is the mouthy PLP supporter who was poking fingers and yelling obscenities, he has to be a disgruntled Sacramento King fan from back in the day, who went in all with Chris Webber and Bobby Jackson and Mike Bibby and Doug Christie and Peja Stojakovic and Vlade Divac and Lawrence Funderburk, only to get disappointed and dismantled by the Lakers and Rick Fox.
Yeah, Rick Fox, okay, he does get the attention, but is it not disturbing when someone screams out, I don't give a bleep about the rules?
About the rules? That's okay, that tells me everything. We in fight mode already, because you're already telling me you don't check for the rules. All right, let's go.
That is bizarre to scream that out and mean it.
Let's get to the phone lines. Talking heads.
Yes, MJ and Naughty. Just let me get on Rick Fox, right? Two things. First, the part you all miss is the guy who say he don't care. He was arrested for making threats. That's the part you guys didn't make. He was actually
Okay.
arrested. He didn't get arrested for cursing. He got arrested for the threat he made that you all may not have caught on the camera. Okay? And so that was so like you come and watch the last 10 minutes of the 1 hour movie, and then you become an expert on the movie even though you didn't watch the rest. But
An hour.
what
I
happened-
didn't see. Yeah, I didn't see all of
What
that.
also happened on the international media, they showed the transition that Rick Fox is exactly who he is, was on the team, a protector of the team.
Yeah,
they have
the
a nickname
enforcer.
for him. Huh?
The
Right?
enforcer.
And-
We remember.
Right. So they basically said he's just a continuation of that's how he plays the team. He plays to win, and he plays to protect all members of the team. Now, for Harrison Thompson, right? I think Harrison Thompson, first of all, we must understand the Prime Minister is responsible for the election. And
Absolutely.
Right. So what happens is in the absence, Harrison Thompson is not the PRD, the whatever they are, right? He is the leader of that. They have a deputy and other people within there, but he sets the pace. So if Mr. Brave Davis doesn't have the testicular fortitude to fire him, Mr. Harrison should do the honorable thing and resign on his own. Accept responsibility for the chaos that you brought into this thing, considering that we spent $30 million to do this, This whole thing, see, we you know how we had the 141 million and the 250 million for this and 125 million for the consultant? This was $30 million we paid for digitization and preparation for this thing from 2022. And he said, Mr. Davis, on April 1st of 2022, but you know that date, right? April Fool's Day? Oh, man, I should have paid attention. That he said it was going to be ready by 2023. So, but what we have to do is for the team to see the errors and correct it. Now, ending, here's what he said. You'll say the difference between the two people. I know the difference between the two parties. One is trying their best to reinstate the past, and another one is trying to build the future. And so there's a complete difference. And the way you can see that is simply look at the fact that 4.5 years later, 4 years and 8 months later, 7 months later, that they have dressed up the promises they made. They've used linguistic contortionism to say stuff like this, what they say. Things that we have started or finished, but they don't tell you 10 of the things is what they have finished, and 300 and something is what they started.
Oh boy!
But
Goodness!
what they did though is they grouped their things in groups, and you don't see things like freedom of information. You didn't do transparency, accountability. None of that is on the list. So that right there began with dishonesty, and the easiest way to do is say, look, here's the things we have finished, and this is what we in our new scam document, whatever they call it. You say, look, this is what we're continuing from this document. Here's the continuation in the new document. They won't do it because it's the same document. You say like salt in the soup. You pour salt in the soup, give it to the waiter, and the waiter puts it in a new bowl and brings you the same soup, and you taste it, and you say, sir, soup. That's what the PLP is doing.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Let's get
Sian.
the other calls. Talking heads.
Hey, Naughty and MJ, how y'all doing?
Good afternoon.
Yeah, I have a question for y'all. Because I only see what I saw on the news, but y'all say y'all's moving around. Did they have any water out there? I ain't see them drinking any water out there for the senior citizens.
Not
I
enough.
ain't see no bottles
No.
of water in their hands and things like that.
Candidates brought and other folks brought and donated.
Candidates did. Yep.
Yeah, they should have some water. I see why so many people are getting dehydrated out there. But see, what the problem is Harrison Thompson, he's bankrupt. He's bankrupt of critical thinking, of innovative ideas right now, man. This the problem in the country now. He ain't getting the right people to do the job. Political patriots. Only because you was a PLP for 50 years. I bringing you back out of retirement, giving you a job, knocking out people who been off the college who in the government system who could have come up and do the job, man. These fellas them get double, triple dipping like Ingham say they getting 5 pension and thing. But yeah, man. So that's really disgraceful. They don't with international. Letting that go international around the place to see how we still operating in 2026. But Naughty, I can't wait till Sunday to talk about that beat down with Atlanta get last night, boy. Beat by 52 points, down by 61. Boy, can't wait. And then BJ say, no, he ain't ready to go Bimini now. Because the night...
I love that for him.
Be safe. Have a safe weekend.
Have a good one, Muff.
All right, Muff, be safe. Let's get to the other calls. Talking heads.
Hey, good afternoon, Naughty and MJ.
Good afternoon.
The gentleman took a lot of what I had to say, so I wouldn't even dwell on that. I agree with him. We are seeing where I'm in my 50s, and we are seeing persons who in their 60s, 70s coming back, getting extra pay, double dipping, as he said. We need to change this. It happens on the both parties. The PLP actually, though, they're the grandest of that. And that robs the nation of ingenuity and potential young persons who can come in and fill those gaps. And this is not an issue we should be dealing with right now. This is something that should have been passed long time. And it's unfortunate that until we are able to address it as Bahamian and still we stop seeing politics as like sport, where we could choose a team, we could stick with that team come hell or high water.
Right.
So we can see the nations as really a value, that something we need to leave to our children and change that mindset. I think we're going to continue to be stuck in. So one day I pray before I leave this earth. Thank you.
Thank you, Paula. I agree. We have to do things a bit differently now.
Oh boy, I tell you, the more things change, the more they stay the same. We have to look at a different angle at going forward. I mean, it hasn't worked for the last 50. We need to try something new. We need to try, changing some legislation, trying, the way we elect officials, so on and so forth.
And we need to listen. I mean, like I said, the nurses have been saying the hospital is in a terrible state. The doctors have said it is the worst in 40 years. You have teachers that have been telling us things. You have citizens, Bahamians on Luther who tell us the power goes in and out every other day. We have to listen. The only difference between yesterday and today is that now we have proof about how things are falling apart around us and not being fixed in the way that they should be fixed. All of the resources, all of the money. I mean, it's just like beaches and $1 million on an election, and you can't get it right. $141 million on beaches and parks, but all of the parks look terrible. Just absolutely disgraceful. One or two are okay, but let's be honest. The beaches are looking, pretty rough. They don't look like they've been, the recipients of a $141 million budget allocation. They just don't look that way. Things are falling apart. And, you can only go so long ignoring it before it smacks you in the face. And yesterday, I think Bahamians were smacked in the face with how inefficiently a lot of our institutions and systems are running right now. And what we saw, we don't like. But that was reality hitting us hard in the face. Things are not exactly what we may think they were or what we may hope they are.
Oh, let's get back to these texts, MJ. These new Haitians know by now that they need to stay home. Bahamians will not allow them to vote. Bahamians are watching them very closely.
What do you mean these new Haitians are not allowed to vote in Bahamian elections? That's the long and short of it.
Any foreigner.
Correct. Bahamians elections are reserved for Bahamians only. I'll say it again. Elections, Bahamians only.
It took Julian 15 minutes. I thought I heard him give a much longer wait time on another show. But yes, my ears aren't as good as they used to be when I was 10. Well, Julian, I could see in his eyes, lied to him.
Well, let's say this, Naughty. The last voter left, CV Bethel, and the Nassau Guardian has documented this. At 9:58, maybe that one got extended to 6:30 or so. But the last voter left at 9:58 p.m. And if it closed at 6 or 6:30, you figure out how long that one vote was waiting. And so, you could have people talk about, it took me 15 minutes. Great for them. They must have been in that VIP line that got immediate service. But for the vast majority of Bahamians, that was not the reality yesterday.
Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. I wish Mr. Pinto could write the play Election 2026 before he's sworn in as PM. Great show as usual. Lincoln actually behaved himself yesterday. That was a wow moment. Naughty and MJ, this election won't be that close. FNM 30, PLP 11. The PM is in a deep sleep. He would get awoken after May 12th. I was there when Julian went in, and he didn't have to wait on that line long. He got served quick, so I gave him the impression the process was smooth. Naughty and MJ, if I can say, I thought that was the speaker. What the speaker did and said was nasty. Did you all see Joe Bethel be fighting for her political life last night? Naughty and MJ, if they're voting around schools, open up the empty classrooms and let voters sit in there and give them tickets, wait on them to call them.
Exactly. That's a smart idea.
It's one of the reasons why me, who's in a wheelchair, be waiting until election day to go and vote. I really hope that on election day, we wouldn't have to go through that because I would actually lose it. And Julian, that dude lied to you. And there was a guy who called in every show that said that Lincoln Bain behaved good yesterday. The only reason why he behaved good yesterday is because he didn't have his fixes. The PRP could use some of the travel and consultant money for election. Good afternoon, MJ and Naughty. Great show as always. Yesterday, I saw the Bahamian democracy at work. Was the process perfect? No. Did the polls close before the last Bahamian voted? No. Were Bahamians being chased away from the polls by the military or police? No. The Parliamentary Registration Department have a few days to ensure that the fractured system that we have been using for the past 50 years will be restored and is able to process a registry that has increased over the years by May 12, 2026. We'll wait and see. Some government persons are very hard-headed. They do not take advice. They become gods unto themselves. What I'm really interested in is hearing from F&M posters is whether the counterfoils were in alphabetical order at any constituency and which ones. Because I find that very odd, as reported by one caller, that workers had to sift one by one through a stack of cards under an initial for every voter.
What?
Well, I said this brought the voting process to a crawl.
Wow. I saw someone say yesterday too that, you know, when they attempted to do some sort of line management, they were splitting people in alphabetical order. So I would hope, you know, that they had things lined up and easily on hand. But I wanted to go and cast his early ballot yesterday. And I've been asking this question for a couple of days. I know that the newspapers have been asking it as well, because we really need to get a response from the Prime Minister about the $200,000 that was reportedly taken from our public treasury and given to candidates down in Abaco. One with his name signed on it. I understand now that Mr. Grimes is saying that Mr. Valentine Grimes is saying that that's not the candidate's signature on those vouchers. It may not be his official signature, but it surely is his name. Like, we see it. We see his name on vouchers that were reportedly paid for by money that came out of our public treasury. So yesterday, going into vote, or maybe right after he voted, reporters caught up with the Prime Minister, and one reporter asked him about the $200,000. And I want you guys to listen to the response from the Prime Minister about that $200,000 that is being reported came out of our public treasury and found its way, the vouchers did, in the hands of a political candidate. Mr. Producer, let's play the Prime Minister's response.
Very smooth. I'm happy I've done it. All who are here just to be patient and stay in the line. The lines are long, which is very encouraging to see how many are participating in this democratic process. I just want them to continue, be patient, and once they're inside, they'll see that the process is very, very, very efficient.
Yeah, what's your response to
What's
your response to criticism about your government using public funds to get vouchers? Did you authorize that?
Do you hear that? That is the sound of silence. A reporter asked our Prime Minister whether his government used funds to pay for those vouchers that were handed out by a political candidate in Abaco. And the Prime Minister, who had just finished speaking, you heard him, he was talking, he was engaging, suddenly shuts down, silence, no response. She then asked, authorize it. And what did we get from our Prime Minister? No response. Clearly heard the question, didn't speak on it.
On yet another issue.
Where is that? Do you remember the caller who said if we thought that the that they would be that stupid? I think he used the word stupid. I don't use it, but I think he used the word stupid to do something like this so close to an election. Where is that caller? Because you clearly hear the Prime Minister given two opportunities to say to us, absolutely not. The original story that they came up with, it was donors. Did you hear him? Or do you hear him not refuting the claim that money, $200,000, came out of our treasury and was handed over to a political candidate to hand out vouchers to Premier Portis? This is absolutely egregious. And even though he hasn't officially answered on the record yet, there's some very negative inferences we can get from the Prime Minister's silence on this issue. But I think that he has to, for once and for all, tell us who authorized that money to come out of the public treasury. Who authorized that money to go to the purchase awards of Dorian vouchers some 6-7 years later? And who put that candidate's name on that voucher? Money the taxpayers earned and taxpayers contributed to this country, being used for a very, very tailored and narrow political reason. Who authorized that? The Prime Minister still has to answer.
Let's get back to these text lines. Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. Tell Julian I live in Bamboo Town for 40 years. The main Bamboo Town. Tell him, MJ, another 5 years of who? Not Brave and Patricia be going to vote them out next week in elections. I thought Julian is blind. This man could see everything. Eh? Patricia had a party a few weeks ago in Bamboo on Saturday. The road through that corner is deplorable. It is so bad. You could ask Muff Road. He will tell you about it, bro. They have to put a cone in the middle of the road for multiple potholes. Wow.
Yeah, as much as we look at Rick and his very, unfortunate reaction to being cursed out in that moment, as much as we look at the Minister of Transport, JoBeth Colby Davis, and her animation in terms of that box, I thought that, that unforced error by the former Speaker of the House, Patricia DeVoe, hollering out filth, I thought that was truly a poor representation of leadership in this country. In that moment, there was absolutely no need for it. Nothing that should have had her holler out the word filth. It just speaks to, it kind of speaks to character when you just say things like that and nasty things like that for absolutely, no reason, no legitimate reason.
Naughty, why do people set that blind guy up? I don't think it's right. They should be in jail. They use him to talk trash just about every show. They need to stop that. I'm sure they take care of him one way or another. No, Naughty Dr.
Hey, that's why he got in and out quickly.
Yeah. Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. Dr. Nicholas Sparks said that he thinks that his opponent has a sign fetish. And he said, and I quote, I'm going to write him a prescription for Xanax for him to get rid of that fetish. I think his opponent has multiple fetishes. Multiple weird fetishes.
I mean, yes, it was terrible. I mean, no, we need to do better. But there were some light moments of humor yesterday that had me saying, you know what? I love my Bahamian people. I can't even lie. I love my Bahamian people.
Confident and educated Mr. Hanfield is not arrogant. Him speaking the King's English or Queen's English may be an issue for that guy who called in. Listen, Hanfield's made a lot of improvements. He's not as starchy as he used to be under the Minister administration.
I mean, he's a Marine.
Man, he was pressed right down. Super Marine, super
all
starch.
All Marines. They're very well put together. They're very, stringent and disciplined, I
had a moment the other day. I said, when mother's sick, Hanfield, you got a wrinkle. Good stuff.
This is wow for a Defense Force Marine. They're usually really well put together.
I asked the caller if he remembers a prime minister who flipped off the country and gave them the bird, who told the whole country F you.
I mean, it was to us. That was crazy.
Naughty, that PRB show calling and complaining about Darren Hanfield and Rick Foxy. A threat was made that I would go to my car and come back. That was a threat to Rick Foxy and their lives. Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. I heard persons speak about the candidate Rick Fox's reaction after being disrespected. I also recall our sitting prime minister recall a former prime minister, not sitting, but former prime minister, put his middle finger in there in reference. Yeah.
Yeah, we remember that. That wasn't great when that wasn't great when that happened then too. We get it. Sometimes you get a little flustered on the campaign trail and it makes you wanna kind of go at someone or flip the bird or start screaming, get the box or whatever. But we just really want everyone to be a bit more calm and focused. Just calm and focus. It's it'll work itself out.
Naughty, that PLP fella did curse. All right, the beat came on. We saw what he said. We saw what he did. And Julian wants this chaos at the polls. He don't care about the elderly falling out or burning in the hot sun and people getting frustrated and leaving. I say that's what they want, to discourage voters. Chaos. Jah will burn fire on them for that. We need to understand that we are dealing with a phony PM with a tribe of lost men. Clock it. Tell JoBeth we haven't forgotten the young man she knocked down. God don't sleep. If it were Mr. Lincoln Bain count on like Joe Beth did, we would have all been calling him crazy.
I think they did call him crazy after the by-election when a similar situation took place, and both the COI and the Free
I was
National
calling him
Movement
crazy for other reasons.
had complaints, but then you see it again last night. This time it's not the FNM. This time it's not the COI. This time it is the minister. It is a minister in this current government screaming about procedures to do with a ballot box. So, like I said, I wish earlier they had taken the seriously. I wish that they had, engaged with opposition forces more and streamlined the process more. But now we see it's happening with the government as well, saying that their people are doing crazy things, making accusations about what was happening last night with that ballot box.
Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. Joe Beth could have easily resolved that situation with her car. That
You know what?
The taxes here all year try to honk.
Y'all need to stop.
The PLPs are bullies and they need to be done. The mayor of Lazytown, we are going to retire him. So he better tell the people of Cat Island goodbye. Naughty and MJ, I heard the caller. I think moving forward, we should vote for permanent secretary, commissioner of police and defense and all high ranks rather than being a cherry picked by the government. Permanent secretaries should be responsible for what is happening in their ministries and be held accountable for general orders and policies there not to be carried out.
Okay, so just a quick note on that we do not want to be voted. The whole purpose of the permanent secretaries, they have a very specific and very important, I might add, function in our government. You know how people say governments are continuous? Well, that's them. They are the history. They are the memory of the government. So that even when our political leaders change, we do have that continuity and we can move forward without that's why I don't buy into this. Oh, you can't change if you build proper institutions, if you go about building our institutions properly, and you have persons that are maybe prefer one party in their heart, but that act in the interest of the country, and that's supposed to be the role of the permanent secretaries, then we don't have some of these problems that we have today. But the solution, unfortunately, will not be electing them, because then you're going to see the same thing that you're seeing at the minister level, at the MP. You're going to see the same thing happening just at that level and then the next level down, right? So that's not the solution. But we do need them. Reform is necessary, though. I agree with that 1,000%.
All right, let's get to the break. We got a hard break, flip side of the break. We will be back to wrap things up on this Friday, May 1st edition of Talking Heads with Naughty and MJ. Keep it right where you got it. Text us. I'm almost there, man. MJ, we can make sure I get all these texts in today, My God. Still got about 30 to go.
Wait on your judgment day. Bobby wrong. Me bona fire pan a weekend. Babylon and the feature coulda never get me down. And though they tried to use me and abuse me, I leave them with a friend.
5 years of PLP rule. Are you better off today? While you work, they've spent millions on taxpayer-funded trips, a government-funded luxury car, and hundreds of millions in no-bid contracts. But for the rest of us, gas and groceries through the roof, VAT on bread basket items, healthcare that is broken, unaffordable, and out of reach. And it's not just your wallet. For 5 years, illegal immigrants have flooded our communities, putting excessive pressure on our schools, our housing, and our social services. As they flood in, Bahamian families fall behind. Under the FNM, there will be a change. The FNM has a plan to address the rising cost of living, secure our borders, protect Bahamians from illegal immigrants, and fix our health care. Because the FNM knows our job is to work for you and not the few. This message was paid for and authorized by the Free National
John
Movement.
Shoes and Accessories is your one-stop shop for all your footwear needs. You will find what you're looking for among the growing collection of classic and trendy styles with new arrivals every week. John's covers the whole family and has great prices, helpful and friendly customer service. Your experience shopping with us will be time well spent. Shop with us online at www.johnshoes.com. John's also now carries small home appliances, so come on into John's, located on Rosetta Street in Palmdale and Carmichael Road West. John's, we put fashion at your feet.
The Whopper with cheese at Burger King Nassau has 100% flame grilled beef that's juicier, topped with fresh ingredients as usual, and even fluffier buns. Get a regular Whopper with cheese combo for only $9, including that, and enjoy a Whopper that's bigger, better, and tastier. The only place to get your Whopper with cheese combo is at Burger King Nassau, where it's grill time anytime.
Refined style with elegant taste, then fine threads is your place. If you want those slacks hemmed or just taking the waist, then fine threads is your place. If you wanna look suave and debonair everywhere you go, like you're supposed to be in a video, wanna step out and look great, then fine threads is your place. Refined style with elegant taste, then fine threads is your place, is your place. Is your place.
Tell your neighbor, tell your friend, we wouldn't change.
It's a hot weekend for the FNM Bahamas. Are you ready? This Friday, May 1st, we hit in Micah, Crooked Island at 12 noon, Acklands at 3:30, and closing in Inagua, FNM headquarters, Matthew Town with Fire Forward Rally at 8 p.m. Next up, Exuma on Saturday, May 2nd. Flags up, pom-poms out. Fire Forward Rally, FNM headquarters, Hoopers Bay at 7:30 p.m. Call your neighbor, bring a friend. SOS, SOS. Time to gas the fire up. Saturday Rally, FNM headquarters at 8 p.m. Freeport, come send a message. Grand Bahama Red. Come and hear from our party leader, Michael Pintard, on why the FNM is better for Grand Bahama. Come hear our plans on how a FNM government will work for you and all Bahamians. SOS, it's Friday, Crooked Island, Acklands, Inagua Saturday, Exuma, and Grand Bahama. SOS!
Tell your neighbor, tell your friend, we wouldn't change.
You're listening to Talking Heads with Naughty and Mary Jane. Only on Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM.
Lord have mercy. Oh, well. We burn a fire, banner, we got Babylon and the free talk could have never get me down.
We're back at you on the Friday, May 1st edition of Talking Heads. Let's get to the text real quick. And this text sends in, Office of the Prime Minister, Director of Communications, and Trey Ramos is questioning Bahamians on a website. The public is advised that a website currently circulated under the name Bahamas Vote Finder is not owned, produced, or operated by the government of the Bahamas. Naughty parliamentary register, how they got the information. This could be used for scams, targeting, and harassment.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Party division plus address plus extra details more concerning. This is a red flag. Privacy. Yeah. The Australian government is warning people, but they should be investigating taking this site down.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad that the text, thank you so much, because we almost got out of the show without me, talking about this. Thank you very much, Texter, for reminding us. So we did see a letter from the Office of the Prime Minister, the Director of Communications, the Trey Ramming, talking about this this particular app. And I'm not going to give you the name or the address of it because I really think that the app probably needs to go down. This, according to the OPM, is not a government platform, right? They say it's a private site that's compiling publicly available voter data. The thing about it is there is a major difference between physical voters registers and a fully online database with people's names, address as far as geolocation is concerned, sufficient there, their birth year, and their voter ID number. That's not just public information on the internet. On the internet, that's almost a complete identity profile. So yeah, we know that the register has always been accessible, but it had friction. It had friction. You had to go in person. You had to search manually. Now, apparently, it's scrapable, it's scalable, it's instantly searchable. And let's be honest, I understand that, this information was given out by PRD in digital format, including flash drives. So, we should not be surprised by this, that this website or this app is available. This is entirely foreseeable. There are two groups I need to address. First of all, the website operator. I don't know who it is, but we need to know why you're collecting, structuring, as well as putting personal data out like this, publishing it like that. What kind of safeguards do you have in place? It looks like you could just pop in a name and get a good bit of information on every Bahamian that's registered to vote. And I know that the OPM says that this is not their app, but the government still has some responsibility. They may not have built the app, but the data is coming from you, right? The data. So I don't know what steps they're going to take, but they need to take some steps to prevent this data from being scrapable like this and scalable. The whole wide world now has access to data on a lot of Bahamians. And public does not mean unprotected. We need some sort of redaction to the sensitive information that's on that site. That needs to happen. The Parliamentary Registration Department, I hope that they conduct an urgent review. And then there needs to be a formal investigation by the Data Protection Commissioner. As a matter of fact, when I heard about this late last night, I wrote a letter this morning to the Data Protection Commissioner. I haven't heard back yet, but I'm hoping to get a response about what it is they're going to do, because having the physical information out there, if the registers in a physical form, a manual form, is one thing, scrapable by every hacker and dark site on the net in the whole world, is a completely different scenario. So I hope the OPM isn't saying, okay, but we didn't put it out there, wash our hands of it. No, I hope that there's further investigation, follow up, and let's try to get this site down if we can.
Oh, Lord. Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. Yesterday at the advanced poll was a fiasco. I'm a poll worker. I had to stand in line for 4 hours to vote. I didn't let the PLP antics frustrate me. I voted for the FNM. FNM still make a mess of things like the PLP. I don't blame the PM, Naughty and MJ. Stop asking silly questions. It's all our money, right? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Relax, bro.
Okay.
Trust me, bro.
Trust me, bro. It's all good, bro.
Yeah, trust me, bro. That is not our money. That is their money. When are we going to get it?
So where the problem? So where the drama? I get it.
Oh, Lord. If it's not operated by the government, the data commissioner needs to shut that down yesterday. Nobody agreed to that personal data to be used in that way.
Yeah, I said that in a letter.
I would like to send out a plea to the FNMCOI and all independents to please be vigilant. They should be seriously concerned with the process and register and at the polls.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. Where my boy Pearly is, man. Ain't here from in a while. Pearly's on injured reserve. He should be back probably May 13th.
Pearly, we do.
Shout out to Pearly, man. The data belongs to the citizen who is given the commissioner for a specific purpose. Nobody can decide without your permission to use your personal data how they like.
Yeah.
We pay them to spend our money how they want and how they want.
Yeah, because there's public information, right? But that doesn't mean that we lose all of our rights. To make something scrapable and scalable in this fashion, it should have like the government really. Where's again, Minister of National Security? Oh my God! Can you please engage? Please engage, please.
Boy, Naughty and MJ, my name on that list, I sue in the PLP.
Everybody's name is on the list on that app. Everybody's name. Everybody that's on the voter register, that's some 209,000 of us. Everybody's information is in that app. And with AI, it's foreseeable that this could happen in a matter of minutes to get something like this up and running. And the particular site that is hosting it is a site that has seen data breaches in the past. So this is something, and like I said, I hope I get a response from the data commissioner. I did send a letter this morning because I was to understand that this is very concerning for Bahamians. It's one thing to have a physical register here. It's a whole other thing when you have it online in this fashion, and then every hacker or identity theft or scammer in the world has that kind of information on every adult Bahamian who's registered to vote.
MJ, you will not hear from the data commissioner. He's a general from the PLP candidate for St. James.
Then I just expect to hear from him. Or maybe I call a candidate from St. James. We'll see.
Good Naughty and MJ. I observed that so many went to the vote first thing in the morning and had to wait so long. I'm a senior citizen, and normally the prior elections, I go between 4 and 5 p.m. That wait time is about 10 to 15 minutes. I signed up for the advance vote. However, my name was not on the list. I wish people would leave the premises once they cast their votes so persons coming later can find parking. We gotta get to the break. Listen, everybody who called in, chimed in, texted in, great stuff as always. For Mr. Producer and for MJ, this Naughty wrapping it up on my end. I want you to have a great weekend. Join us on Sunday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. for the Press Box, where we talk all sports for 2 hours. So I'll see you all then, and I'll let MJ wrap things up and get us into the
Yeah, no,
weekend.
we're getting out of here, but you guys, I know yesterday was stressful. Go relax yourselves. Have a great weekend, and please be safe, Bahamas.
We got Babylon and the free jack could never get me down. I know they tried to use me and abuse me. I leave them with the brown.
The world is changing. It's bringing new challenges, but also new opportunities. The truth is, our economy always left too many Bahamians out. Now we're opening new doors in agriculture, tourism, energy, entrepreneurship, providing grants, scholarships, national service, and upskilling. A new generation is rising, and we're finally moving in the right direction, building an economy that includes everyone.
Paid for by the PLP.
Make Mother's Day unforgettable with Kelly's House and Home's Mother's Day sale starting Friday, May 1st through Saturday, May 9th. Save 20% on a lovely selection of dinnerware, glassware, luggage, silk flowers, and picture frames, except on net items. We have beautiful gifts that let Mom know just how much she's appreciated. Shop early